Hello everybody and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Welcome back to another Taskmaster challenge. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and as always my competitors are Stealth 17 Gaming and Brother Monroe. Now, tonight's challenge was sent in by Brother Monroe and is quite an interesting one because we don't know exactly what the challenge is just yet. But we know that it says year is 1925, range is 30,000 meters, country is of our choice, so I chose the US, and we are against Japan. Seems like a pretty straightforward challenge so far. Our forces 1 battleship and 4 destroyers versus the enemy's battleship, 2 battlecruisers, and 6 destroyers. So we're outmanned, outgunned, and that's not all. No build restrictions, and you can build both the battleship and the destroyers. The admiral who sinks the enemy with the least damage to their battleship, as reported by the end of battle stats screen, is the winner. After designing your ship, uncover the spoiler below. So, I've got to wait to see what the challenge part of it is, but we've got to design our battleship and destroyer, so let's get straight into it. Now, it's 1925, so we've got some Dreadnought hulls here. We're going to be going up against battleships, battlecruisers, and destroyers, so we're going to want to make this thing as large as possible. Now, let's check the hull form as well. So, in this case, we can go up to 62,000 tons with this hull, but the hull form itself isn't that great. Whereas this hull has a better hull form, but is not as big. So, I think we're going to go with just making an absolute behemoth of a dreadnought. We're going to max out everything, essentially. That's going to give us a potential of a 70,000 ton dreadnought. Now, we're going to drop the range all the way down. We're going to go with maximum bulkheads. We're going to turn this all the way up. We're going to go with... we'll go with spacious crew quarters. That's fine. We're going to go with the oil 2, forced boilers, gear turbines 2. Aux 4, shaft 3, 15 and 22%. Plus 5%. This is plus 1.4%. I think we're going to go with electric 2 steering here. Though it does hurt your flash fire chance, turret traverse speed, water pumping, and everything. So maybe we go with electro-hydro. We'll take it. We'll take it. Alright. Should be able to go corrupt 4. Yes, we can. Let's go anti-torque 4 because we're going up against quite a few destroyers. Triple hull bottom. We're going to go with reinforced bulkheads, the best anti-flooding, and a Citadel 4 for turtleback armor. Okay. Main tower. We've got quite a few towers here that we can choose from. We got a tall advanced tower, which gives us 36 aiming speed, 31.5% base accuracy, and 53 long range accuracy. So I guess that is just the better option. It does weigh 400 tons more than the next option, so there's that. We'll go with that roughly there. We might move that back a bit. Secondary tower, though, we've got rear tower 9, which is 690 tons, which is, again, about 400 tons more than the next one down, but gives us plus 18 and plus 14 and plus 18, which is plus 16, 11, and 17.5. Yeah, we should be good. We'll go with the best one here. So we can pull this back a little bit. We're going to need funnels, at least one, so we'll try with a round funnel initially and see what we can get. That's just 38%. Even with forced boilers and geared turbines, it's 38%. So these are 300 tons each and give us 13. So if we go with 2 of these, that gives us 76. We would need at least 3 to get 100% efficiency, which is 900 tons. And that is plus 13... Let's try 2 of these. It gives us 88%. Okay, that's no bueno. Okay, what about this? 2 of these. That gives us 100% efficiency. That's 444, so that's 888 tons. So that is technically lighter than this and gives us maximum efficiency. And we can move that back a little bit, which is going to allow us to scoot this back a bit. And that's going to allow us to have a barbette up front and have more of a standard sort of configuration. So we'll go with that. Gun-wise, we're not going to have gigantic guns, I don't think. So should be able to go with just a standard superimposed barbette. Put that somewhere around there. And then we need to look at what we're going to do for main guns. Again, this is 1925. So the bigger guns are going to be small, like worse iterations. So I'm thinking 14-inch guns seem to be the obvious choice. But I think we should probably go bigger. Now, I know that these are not going to be quite as good. These are going to reload in 90... if we go 16-inch guns, these are going to be reloading in 99 seconds, which is not ideal, especially for going up against, you know, the destroyers. But we're going to have plenty of casemates here to help us with the destroyers. So I think we do go with the 16-inch guns. We do go with triple barrel tech, even though we probably ought to go with double barrel tech to avoid any more of a accuracy penalty. But again, I'm thinking that this will be okay. So we go with that. Go with that. We can't put a freaking 16-inch gun there, unfortunately. Put that there. Okay. So that's going to have a decent firing angle over the rear. We do have a good layout, plenty of main guns. We have plenty of weight to work with as well. So now we want to look at secondaries. Now we're going up against mostly destroyers and some, you know, heavier armored targets. So the secondaries are primarily going to be to focus the destroyers. So in casemates, I want to be looking at, you know, weight obviously is a good thing. We don't want to have too much weight. We don't need giant guns, so maybe we go with 5-inch. Apparently we can't go with 4-inch casemates, so it looks like 5-inch guns are going to reload in 4.9 seconds and are decently accurate. These are Mark IV guns. These are also Mark IV and are 45 caliber guns to start with. And these reload in 5.5 seconds. So maybe 6-inch guns are the way to go. These are 45 caliber. These are 46 caliber to start with. These weigh 29, or it says these weigh 36 ton, and the other one weighs 43 tons. Well, given that this one says 43, I gotta go with that. So let's go with that. Okay, we have officially filled all of the casemates with those 6-inch. Well, I lied. We gotta put those there. And now we have filled the casemates with 6-inch guns. Okay, but that's not it. We can also add some potential 6-inch guns up here. Okay. And then if we go to 5-inch guns. Nope. Okay. 4-inch guns. Nope. Okay. 3-inch guns. Just seeing if there's any other gun emplacements that we're going to be able to use on the ship. 2-inch guns. Okay, there's where we can use the tower for some extra guns. Now, obviously, 2-inch guns are not going to be that effective, but you'd be surprised what little 2-inch guns can do in this game, especially against destroyers. So these are going to be capable of reloading currently at 3.6 seconds. If we go with Barbette 4, and then we go down here to the bottom, we should be able to increase our reloading to auto reloading, which is going to help our reload quite a bit. I also want to be shooting super heavy shells, which is going to slow our reload a bit, but that still should be fine. We're at 4.5 seconds on the 45 caliber 6-inch guns. What about our 3-inch gun? Or this is a 6-inch gun as well. This is 6.4 seconds. But this is 3 guns every 6.4 seconds, so that would be big. And then we have these that are reloading in 2.9 seconds. And then these are reloading in, 2.9. And then the smaller... Wait, those are the 2-inch guns, right? Yeah. Okay. So now, what are we going to do from there? We've got a pretty high pitch, which is not preferable. That extends due to like having our turrets so close to the center. Now, if we move this front turret forward, this is going to increase the size of the citadel, which is also going to cause us issues in terms of weight, because it means that we have to armor more of the ship. If we put that there, and then we move this to the back, we can then move everything here back a little bit. Which saves us a little bit of trouble in terms of our pitch and our 4-weight offset. If we move this back just a little bit, if we move it forward, I'm just watching the pitch, to be honest. Let's go with something like this. Now, I hate having the turrets so far out because of 2 reasons. 1, you have to armor more of the ship to protect the citadel, but 2, because of the being on the far ends, the ship just isn't as thick here, meaning a penetration through the bow side plating could cause issues with getting into that barbette, and that could be bad. So we're going to have to adjust accordingly. And given the fact that we only get 29.5% pitch here, I don't know that it's worth it. I still want this gun to be further back because that's going to allow better firing angles. But we're going to move this back as well. I know that's causing aft weight offset now. And again, hurts the pitch. But I just feel like if I have that gun that far forward, that we're going to have issues with penetrations. And I don't want that to be an issue. Like it could very easily end poorly for me. So I think in this case, we're just going to deal with the pitch issues. We have shrank the size of the citadel. You see what I'm saying here? So the red here, the entire like little off red is the citadel. This is engineering compartment down here. So keep that in mind. But like as we move this forward, look at the size of the citadel. You see how that changes? Because the citadel is essentially from the foremost gun to the rearmost gun. So we could shrink it even further. You can see here, if we shrink this by moving this forward, okay, right there seems to be about perfect. Yes, it's not going to be able to rotate 360 degrees, which is unfortunate, because you can see it does have a conflict there. It's not going to be able to raise its guns to go up over what we're going to put there anyway. So we're going to have not a 360 turret back here, but that does shrink our citadel slightly, which is going to mean we have a little bit more weight to play with in terms of armor. Plus, like I said, having the guns further back means you got more ship between the gun turret barbette and the side of the ship, meaning less odds of getting absolutely obliterated. And having 16-inch guns at this early on should be huge for our ship as well. So we've got all of these secondaries, these 6-inch guns, we have plenty of room for more 6-inch guns. Conversely, I'm thinking of throwing a a second gun up here that could be beneficial. Now we could go with these Mark III 45 caliber 8-inch guns that reload in 12.8 seconds with this build, or we could go with a 7-inch gun. But I think the 8-inch gun is probably a good idea. We'll put that right up there. So that's going to be able to fire out to 14.5 kilometers, which is nice. That'll give us a little bit of a reach, plus the reload on that's going to be better. Now, obviously, it's just a single turret. It's not going to have a lot of ammo, but, I mean, we could potentially put some 8-inch guns here, or we could put some torpedoes. And torpedoes might be our friend in this one, with dealing with the battlecruisers and the battleship. So if we look at putting torpedoes on this thing, you can see that we can put quite a few launchers down the side of this thing. And I think we're going to. We put 2 quad launchers there. That's going to give us 8 torpedoes. I mean, we could put another one there, but it's going to be a little sketch. And I don't want to bring them up here because that's going to get interfering with the main guns, I think. So yeah, actually, that's not that bad. Alright, so that gives us that. We're going to be using standard torpedo, I believe. Let's go with the biggest ones that we can, 22 inches. Yeah, that's the biggest one we can. These are 559 millimeters. These are going to have a range of 12.8 kilometers. What if we go with fast torpedoes? This is going to decrease their range by 35%, increases the speed by 30 knots, increases their detection range, which could cause us issues, but also increases the dud chance and torpedo accuracy, which is not preferable. But if we go with fast, what does that do for our range? 8.6 kilometers. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I think we go with standard. I think we just deal with it. We're going to put our best rangefinders that we can, which is stereoscopic rangefinder 5. It's going to increase our weight by quite a bit. We are going to need sonar, obviously, and we're going to go with Gen 1 radar, which is RDF. So that's going to give us a little bit of bonuses as well. Now, our pitch is not good, but there's not a whole lot we can do. This hull form isn't ideal and doesn't give us a lot of options. We could go with smaller guns to potentially get rid of that, but given the fact that we're going to be going up against bigger targets, I just don't think that that's a good idea. Now, I'm not going to go with standard AP. The reason I'm not going to go with standard AP is because of the fact that we are going to be going up against, armored ships, but it's older armor, and these big guns are likely to overpin. So I'm thinking we go with semi-ballistic, which is going to give us more penetration than regular SAP. But the semi-ballistic is going to be a solid hit. It's going to allow us to pin and do damage, but not necessarily overpin the battlecruisers and the battleship. Now, we're going to also use high-capacity HE, which is going to allow us to have our secondaries do quite a bit. Now, we're also going to be using tube powder as best we can here, because that's going to increase our reload or decrease our reload. So now our main guns are reloading in 56 seconds, which is a lot more reasonable. And then, of course, our secondaries are reloading in 4.5 seconds for the casemates. The triple turret is reloading at 6.2. The little guns are reloading in 2.8 seconds. So we're going to be looking pretty good. And then our 8-inch guns are reloading every 12.3 seconds. So not a huge boon in terms of extra speed. But we have torpedoes that we can use when we get close. The only downside is, because of the new mechanics of the torpedoes, I don't know if this is a good idea. Plus, we're going to have, these are a liability. Every one of these torpedo tubes, if they get detonated, is devastating. Especially the fact we got 22 or 23-inch torpedoes. Like these are, yeah, 22-inch torpedoes. These are going to be huge, huge liabilities having them on the deck. But they could also be a huge, huge deal in terms of saving us in this fight. So we've got all the things. We are currently capable of 22 knots. We do have an engine efficiency of 100%. I don't want to lower our speed anymore. 22 knots for the year 1925 is acceptable. It's not fast, but it is acceptable. So I'm going to keep that where it is. We're going to look into armor and how we can save a little bit of weight. So we don't need 19.9 inches of side armor on our turrets. We just don't. They're relatively sloped, kind of, not really. So they're actually not that sloped, but we don't need 19.9 inches. Let's take that down to just being 16 inches. That's going to save us quite a bit of weight on those turrets. Let's take this down to 6 inches on top. Take this down to 12 inches on the barbette. Remember, the barbette sticks up a little bit here, so we don't want to skimp out too much on the armor for that, because, I mean, essentially that's 12 inches between, you know, a potential ammo detonation. So, it's not preferable. For 8-inch guns, we got 10 inches of armor. We can take this down to 5 inches on top, and then take this down to 8 inches as well on the barbette, because our barbettes are relatively protected here. We're going to have superstructure armor plus the barbette there, or no, back here. So you can see there's quite a bit of thickness here built into the raised platform as well as the barbette. So this one should be pretty well protected. We don't need to add any extra too much there. Let's go 6% there. Let's go 4%, or 4%, 6 inches, 4 inches. We can't add any armor to the 2-inch guns. And then casemate armor, let's just go with 9 inches and 6 inches. That's going to save us a little bit of weight, but not a lot. We still only have about 1,000 tons, maybe 1,900 tons to play with here. So I think what I'm actually going to do is remove these 2 launchers. That saves us a little bit as well, because I don't like the idea of that. Yeah, that actually was affecting our ability to aim down the sides as well with the front gun. So that's a big deal. Plus, having these in a central position, I still don't know how this is going to work out. This could be horrible. And we might actually want to separate these a little bit if we're honest. Let's take and try this again. Let's go with putting these, you know, back here. Does that affect? No, it does not affect our casemates whatsoever. So that's big. And then we'll put one a little bit further forward here. Which still should not affect our gun. It's going to be able to fire over, no problem. But this keeps these much further apart from one another and should effectively allow them to not cascade. Like if they destroy one of these, it's not going to propagate to destroying this one, in theory. But we'll see how that works out for us. I'm still not sold on the idea of having torpedoes because, again, they're a liability, plus on top of that, they're not as effective as they used to be because now they have duds, now they don't quite all go where they need to go. Like, it could go horribly wrong for us. Everything else, we didn't change this, did we? We could go with the TNT-3, and I think that's what we are actually going to go with. We could go with picric acid, which is going to give us better HE, but I don't think we need to. We're just going to go with TNT-3, which gives us a nice boost, plus reduces some of the weight, so that's going to help us a little bit. And now we can check into the armor situation. Now, we've got 16-inch guns, which means I want at least 16 inches of belt armor. That's 35. How is that 35? Because I accidentally wrote 61 instead of 16. So we go with 16 inches of belt armor. Deck armor, I don't want to reduce it too much, actually, but I do want to reduce it a little bit. So let's go with like 7 inches of main deck armor. Now, we do have an aft weight offset, which is something we might want to check into doing better with here. Let's move this gun forward a little bit. And see if we can't move everything else forward a little bit to make this thing just slightly more balanced. There we go. That gives us a balanced ship with this current configuration. We may end up adjusting this depending on how we do our armor. But again, this is just a little bit of an idea. Let's see. So we've got currently a 7-inch belt on the front. I would like that to be larger. 4.2 rear deck. Remember, we also have the inner deck. Let's take that up to... God dang it. Let's take that to 2. Let's take this to a 4. Let's take this to a 1.5. And then this to a half. Okay? So that gives us a little bit of internal protection as well. And then for belt armor, let's take this up a bit. See if we can go to 8 inches. And then, of course, we can add some weight to the rear belt as well to rebalance the ship. Beautiful. We still have some to play with. We've got decent deck armor. I would like this to be 5, but I don't think we're going to be able to. Because for each one that we go up here, we got to go up with the rear as well. Yeah, so that goes over. So we're not going to quite get to 5. It gives us a 0.1% 4-weight offset. And we're pushing up against our thing. I want at least 2 inches of superstructure armor, and we can drop conning tower down a little bit. Yeah, that gives us an aft weight offset now. Well, I think that's about to be about as good as we're going to get in terms of armor. I'm not going to increase the length or anything on these guns. I want them to fire accurately, and I want them to fire as often as possible. That's why I'm not going to decrease the diameter or anything. So we're going to try to keep the guns as is. Just let them do what they do. Because they should be relatively accurate. 45 caliber, 16-inch gun, triple turrets. Triple turrets is going to probably be a little bit of an issue for us. Probably ought to go down to a double turret. That would fire a little bit faster and be a little bit more accurate because it wouldn't get the debuff for triple turret tech. But I think that's going to be okay. Let's go ahead and look at the destroyer now. So we got to design a destroyer. We've got a modern destroyer leader, which can be 3,000 tons. So I think we're just going to go with that right off the bat. This thing is currently capable of 31 knots. I would like to take that up a little bit higher. I'd like this to be closer to 37 knots. And we're going to go full. Let's go standard on these for the crew, because we don't need crazy crews. We're not going to increase the beam or the draft on this. We are going to increase the displacement. And now we're going to look at see what we can get away with in terms of, you know, everything that we're about to do. All right. Now, main tower. We've got the main tower 4. We can put there. Secondary tower, large barbette tower. If we put that further aft, could put the, actually, if we move this, how are we going to do this? How many funnels do we need, first and foremost? If we just go with a thin funnel, what does that give us? 76% engine efficiency. So we're going to need at least 2 of these. So let's go there. There. For main guns, we're going to go with 5-inch guns. Double barrels. Something like that. So that's going to help us counter the enemy destroyers. And then we're going to have, obviously, some torpedoes here in the middle. We're not going to get a lot. And I'm honestly thinking we might be going with, you know, wing-mounted torpedoes here. And that makes the torpedo, or that makes the ship overweight. Let's go with better barbette armor. Obviously, we want to go with 22-inch torpedoes. So now they're way overweight. Still got a nasty 4-weight offset as well. Let's get rid of that. Let's move these back a little bit. That'll help with our weight offset. And then our torpedoes. Can we get 2 quad launchers in here in the middle? I mean, yes, but terrible torp angles. Boy, this ship is just not quite... If we move this forward, it's going to increase the size of the engineering section. And now I can't get a second launcher in there. This might be a situation where we're going to want to increase the size of our funnel here. Let's move that forward. Move this forward a little bit. And then get rid of that. Check our funnels. So the thin funnel's capable of a 17. If we go 21, that's probably going to be pretty good. Yeah, that gives us 94% engine efficiency. And then we can slide this back a little bit. Slide this back a little bit to get a little bit better launch angles. That gives us 8 torpedoes plus all of the guns. Plus, I mean, our pitch is not good, obviously. Our roll is not particularly great either. We do have a slight aft weight offset, which we can try to beat by using this. There we go. That gets rid of our weight offset, so we're not going to get any extra penalties there. And we should have a decent destroyer on our hands. This thing's going to be firing 2 powder with TNT-3 as well. Also going to be shooting super heavy shells. Yes, that's going to slow down our reload time, but not by that much. Standard reloading, we're going to go with the auto reloading. That's not possible. What does that get us down to anyway? 4.3 seconds. What if we go with semi-auto? That's still too heavy. And that's 4.6. Enhanced. We can do enhanced reloading, which is going to allow us to have 4.9 seconds. What is the standard? 5.5. So that saves us roughly half a second per shot. I think we hold on to it for now. We're going to use standard torpedo propulsion. We're going to go with 22 inches. We need to have rangefinder. Probably should have sonar as well. And we got to have radar. Now that puts us overweight, but we can change things to help with that. We don't have much in the way of armor. So let's reduce the armor on our guns a little bit. These guns are currently capable of reaching out to 10.5 kilometers, which is good. We are at 24 tons overweight, though. How much are one of these turrets? 30 tons. So that would solve our problem right there. Just getting rid of a turret. I think we're going to have to get rid of a little bit of armor, unfortunately. I think we get rid of the conning tower armor. That brings us down just a little bit. Doesn't really do anything for us. We get rid of the aft armor and the forward deck armor. Get rid of the main deck armor. That puts us just under the limit. And we do have a slight 4-weight offset now. So if we pull this further back again, that brings it a little bit more in check. Now, if we take this gun and then pull it back just a bit, that makes it an aft weight offset of 0.6. So it's definitely better to keep it where it is. It's only 0.1. All right, I think this is an okay design. It's not obviously a well-protected destroyer, but hopefully the speed will make up for that. We could drop our speed down a little bit, and that would help us potentially, but I need that speed. It should be decently accurate with the guns, so we should be able to counter the enemy destroyers relatively easily, and hopefully manage to get some torpedoes away on their capital ships potentially as well. So, with that being said, we have officially designed our ships. Now it is time for the interesting little challenge that they posed to us. I gotta scroll back up and try to find it, though. I do apologize. Okay. So the spoiler is, after, let's see, problem, roll a d12, which is a 12-sided die, and consult the table below. Depending on what I roll, I will get a specific challenge. Okay, so this is an interesting one, and I don't really have a 12-sided die, so I'm going to have to go to the internet for that. Let me, Alright, so we're on rolladie.net. We have a 12-sided die. We're going to be rolling 1. I'm not going to show you guys just due to the fact that, like, I've got the, like, there's a bunch of ads on screen and I don't want to show that to the video. We're going to roll 1 time and see what we get. So let's go ahead and start. Stop. We rolled a 6. What does 6 give us? 6 is change your battleship's bulkheads to minimum. Okay, that's really unfortunate, actually. But, looking over some of the other challenges, I think that that's actually not the worst. It's going to suck, but it's not the worst. So we rolled a 6. Okay, let me get back into the game here. We got to go back to our battleship and set the minimum, or set the bulkheads to minimum. Now, it did not say that we cannot make changes to our battleship after the fact. So, I'm going to take that as an opportunity. We've just taken away our bulkheads, right? But look how much weight that just saved us. 7,000 tons of armor that we can put on this bad unit. Or we could go with a faster speed also. I think because we went smaller bulkheads, we've got to add some armor. Like, we have to. We've got to protect this ship. So I think we go up to... I think a 16-inch belt's probably going to be sufficient. Let's just add some armor to the fore and aft belt here. We should be able to go up to 10 inches there. Increase this as well until we're even. Okay. The deck armor, we can add quite a bit there as well. Can we go to a 9-inch deck? Yes, we can. And then we will add a nice even amount of armor. So let's go 6 inches, 6 inches. Still doing really well on armor. Okay, so let's then take this up to 12 inches. Actually, I lied. Let's take that back to 11 inches and then add the rest into this. So we'll go 7 inches, 7 inches. Somehow we managed to get a 4-weight offset, but it's not consequential. I would also like to add some superstructure armor, so I think the rest we just add superstructure. Okay, that goes a little too much, so 2.9 is okay. Take this up to 2, not quite, and go there. Nope, not able to add any there. Or there. Okay, we can... I lied. Can't even add any to the conning tower. Oh, because we're only 1 ton away from the limit. Alright, so hopefully that... I mean, it doesn't say anything in the challenge about modifying your design after you get your problem, right? So, like, it says... I'm just going to read over it real quick. Problem, roll a die and consult the table below. Change your battleship's... And we roll a 6, so change your battleship's bulkheads to minimum. And yeah, I mean, that's it. It doesn't say that we can't. Oh my god, it does. Oh my god, I'm so... Damn it. Okay, I didn't read... There is one last line. It says, once you've applied your problems, head straight into battle. No redesigning allowed. Ah! I've screwed up, boys. Crap. We didn't change this. I'm going to have to stop the recording and go back and find exactly what we just changed. Because clearly that was not allowed, and I just screwed up. I apologize. I will be right back. Alrighty, folks. So I have gone back and edited our armor to what it was prior to me making changes, other than having minimum bulkheads on. So I do apologize. I didn't see that little note that was at the bottom of that list, so that's on me. But I did correct the issue, so that should not disqualify me from this challenge because I did not start after changing the armor. But here we are. We had to change our fore belt back to 8 inches. Aft belt back to 6.5, main deck at 7, both of the fore and aft deck at 4.4 inches, and our superstructure back down to 2. And then we made sure we changed this as well to make sure that it is the same as it was prior. So I do apologize to everybody for that mistake of mine, but in keeping with the challenge, we have corrected our issue before going into battle, so hopefully it doesn't cause us issues. But this is a little bit, little sketchy. We're going to keep with it, Virginia, though, and let's just get straight into the battle. Let's hope that we go up against small guns here. Because if we go up against large guns and we take hits, like, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to be in some big trouble. Having minimum bulkheads is terrifying. If we take any torpedoes, we're going to flood really badly, so we can't be taking torpedoes. We're going to rely heavily on our destroyers to deal with those capital ships now. As much as I want the destroyers to help counter the destroyer threat, I think our best bet is to try to get our destroyers into position to counter the capital ships as quickly as possible. Oh my god, this is devastating. Immediately up against giant battleships for the Japanese, and battlecruisers that are just as large as the battleships. This is, actually, I think these are slightly bigger than the battleships. And a decent-sized destroyer, though I think our destroyers are larger. This is going to be a challenge, for sure. So, hopefully we brought big enough guns that are going to be capable of doing what we need them to. Enemy's location is out this direction. Let me know, also, whether you guys like this, this mod. I have actually added a mod to the game which changes the shading a little bit. So let me know what you guys think of that. We're going to go with a tight formation. I'm going to turn that off. We're going to point ourselves in the direction of the enemy ships, and we're going to roll out. Now again, our goal here is to find the capital ships. Let's turn these off for now, because I don't want to waste our torpedoes on destroyers. We do have battleships spotted currently. This gives us an opportunity to check what we have. He has 12.3-inch guns. That is actually ideal. I don't see any torp tubes, so that's good. But he does have a lot of secondaries. We are also already being shot at. Our battlecruisers have 14.6-inch guns, so they're slightly more sketch than the battleship. But we're going to try to get out here anyway and see if we can't intercept these guys and do some good work. We're going to try to stay bow in as best we can here against their capital ships. So we're going to be moving in this sort of direction. They have so many secondaries. I don't think we're going to get close enough to actively engage these guys. The good news is this is also taking torpedoes. Oh god, I may have overcorrected. Out of the hands of the enemy. We do have some structural damage and already got a kill somehow. No idea what just happened there. Come on. I'm hoping that I got torpedoes in the water in the near future. We are within 5.2. We definitely have the range. We're going to try to fishtail our way in. Oh god, that sounded bad. Yep, we just lost the destroyer. Not ideal. We're fishtailing as hard as we can to potentially avoid a hit. We did just take a hit from a smaller gun. Their battlecruiser is actually already taken a significant hit here. So I think we're gonna turn out, turn out, turn out. Get those torps in the water, baby. Torp, you fuckers. Torp. Torp. Sometime today, sunshine! Oh, dear God. This is going about as awfully as it could. Down he goes. And we never got any of our torpedoes away. This has gone absolutely awfully so far. We do have torpedoes in the water from one of our destroyers here. At this point, I think we're just going to put these guys on AI, let them do whatever the heck they're going to do. And then we're going to control our battleship to continue to try to put pressure on the enemy here. We have scored some hits with our battleship, so that's good news. We have scored 12,000 damage. Our destroyers have been an utter failure. so far. If they manage to land torpedoes on anything at this point, that would be huge. I'm going to turn the shaders off because I feel like the frame rate is actually running terribly at the moment, when it shouldn't necessarily. I need to focus this freaking battlecruiser down. We've got a 16% chance to hit. We're going to speed up time here. Secondaries are going to shoot HE here. We are taking a little bit of damage. But again, I need to close the distance to get more accurate. We are taking a lot of damage, though. Remember, the winner is who can win this challenge, sinking all of the enemies without or with the least amount of damage done to your battleship. So this is horrible that we're taking this much damage. But we've got to try to get rid of this freaking battlecruiser. There's another flood. These battlecruisers are the ones with the most potential. I forgot about the torpedoes on our battleship. Let's go ahead and switch targets. Keep the secondaries focusing that guy, please. They are detecting the torpedoes, I think, which is unfortunate. And that guy is now turned away. So we need to start trying to get rid of this guy who's got our broadside. I'm going to start trying to angle here. This is dangerous. Big hit and another flood. It looks like a new compartment as well. Come on, baby. Big hits. We've knocked out a couple of his engines. Got another flood on him. That should be him struggling to float at this point. More hits. He's struggling a lot here. Alright, change targets. We're just not able to kill him. We just took an overpin that destroyed torpedoes. Not ideal. Big hits. Causing flooding as well. They don't have torpedoes. Another massive hit. Dude, we are getting absolutely pummeled here. Our inability to kill these fucking people are actually destroying us. Destroyers still have plenty of torpedoes too, which is not ideal. Go after this guy, please. We're about dead because of the flooding we've taken, because of the minimum bulkheads. Dude, minimum bulkheads is such a hard challenge to overcome. Like, you might argue that I shouldn't have pushed in, but we needed to try to kill these things, and we're not able to fucking kill them. I honestly thought that our 16-inch guns would do a much better job, especially with that semi-armor piercing, having better pin angles. Of getting rid of these guys, but they just have better flood. Like, their mini bulkheads is killing us. Like, let's just pause real quick. So these guys are large freaking ships, but they have standard bulkheads. Their battleship is completely fine. He's got standard bulkheads as well. But we have not been able to flood them to death. We've done so much damage to them, but we haven't been able to kill them. Even at close range, we're just not doing enough to get rid of them. You can see we're doing damage, we're getting floods, but we're not actually killing or like finishing them off. They're not flooding out. There's 2 more floods on top of that. Like, okay, one of the battle cruisers is down. If we take another flood, we're dead. We don't have the angle to shoot the freaking battle cruiser. So we're going to turn away, then shoot at the battleship, I guess. But I think we're flooded. There goes our battleship. We only have our little destroyers left, and they have already taken an absolute beating. It's unfortunate, man. I definitely did not play this very well. I thought that our 16-inch guns would do better. We landed some good hits, but at the end of the day, it's just not enough. The enemy just had too many guns. We couldn't get close enough to, like, actively engage, and then I didn't have my torpedoes on. When I thought that I turned them on, it didn't take, apparently. So we ended up losing destroyers without ever firing torpedoes, which is never ideal. We don't have the angle to shoot the battle cruiser. This is a complete failure across the board for us. And it's my own stupidity that caused it. But that is the nature of these challenges, man. You make a big mistake like that, you don't win. And you know Brother Monroe and Stealth are both very, very good at the game, so they are definitely going to win this challenge. They also play a lot safer than I do most of the time. So that's definitely going to be a situation where they're capable of winning this challenge easily. And I had opportunity, could have kept my distance and tried to farm them over time. I got a little impatient and got myself into too much trouble, I think. Okay, that's too much. I think that torpedo right there looks like it's going to be good. We are getting some floods. We did get the torp. That's another flood. That's a battle cruiser down. Like, there's still hope here. We're not outdone yet. Sure, if we win this challenge, we're going to lose if somebody else wins the challenge. But at this point, it's about freaking trying to salvage some semblance of dignity from this absolute failure that we have caused. We did manage to sink both of their battle cruisers. Again, the challenge was sink all of the enemies with as much health on your battleship as possible. So YOLOing in a battleship was a stupid idea, especially with minimum bulkheads. It's really, really unfortunate, but is what it is. Can't take it back now. Let's go ahead and smoke up. Look at the amount of shells that this thing fires at us. He's got guns everywhere. And down goes our destroyer. Like, they're too accurate, and we're not able to, like, they got too many guns, and they're too accurate. Oh, God. Speaking of accurate, look at these torpedoes. Like, there's just not, they're hitting us with impunity. We're in smoke, we're 9 kilometers away in a fast destroyer, and they hit us with, like, every shot. So, overall, an absolute failure on my end. I can sense your disappointment. Only sunk 1 destroyer, but the destroyers never really were a factor in this. It was just our stupidity versus trying to get in with our destroyers early and then unable to do so. But, yeah. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate. But you can see their battleship actually did 26,000 damage. Their battle cruisers did 8.8 and 1,200. So it was the battleship that was actually doing the most damage to us. Which is crazy because he only had 12.3-inch guns and a bunch of secondaries. So the fact that he was able to do so much penetrations to us, and I think it was the floodings, to be honest, that was doing the most to us. Obviously, we flooded to death. We didn't die due to structure. So the fact that we flooded to death from freaking 12-inch guns, when we were armored to protect ourselves relatively well against 16-inch guns, is rough. So let me know, guys, what you guys thought about this challenge. Did we get absolutely the worst possible, situation with getting minimum bulkheads? I don't know. I think there's some worse challenges out there. It'll be interesting to see what Stealth and Brother end up getting. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.